2023 now. I'd like to welcome everybody here. Our new ex officio is Mr. Tishnell, Commissioner Tishnell, right? Is that
Yes.
correct? And, glad to see you back, Liz. I haven't seen you for a couple months, you know?
Well,
I haven't gotten any trouble though. I've
that's
actually
good.
And, approval of the minutes that are in your packet. Everybody have a chance to look over those. Any questions or concerns with those? Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to
Second.
approve them.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So moved, Chad. Timmy, you have anything?
I do not.
Liz?
No,
Bruce?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Larry, anything you want to input? Sometimes we go pretty quickly, so if you want to say something, just cut me off. Bruce, you have anything?
I've got something.
Good?
I've got a couple of cases for this month, January. They're carryovers from December. You all didn't have a meeting in December, so that was actually good, because I have a couple of special exceptions. The variances, you can make comment on. The special exceptions, you're supposed to comment on. So the first one is special exception 501. It's an application submitted by Kenneth and Teresa Ross for a special exception permit to allow the construction of a private indoor boat storage building in the Deep Creek watershed. The property is located at 490 Raven Court, tax map 66, parcel 70, lot 11, grid 9, and this is in Lake Residential 2 zoning. I do have a site plan for that, and they do intend to build a home in the relative near future, so.
Ravens Court, where's that?
Raven Court is off of Boy Scout Road.
I know I saw the sign before.
Yeah, it's that little development that's
Yeah.
been here for a while. My question, Mr. Chairman, is basically we're granting them permission to build a garage before the structure, before their home, which is, I understand that, but how do we enforce, what if they never build a home, what do we do?
I only mentioned that as a gesture, but they are actually, by special exception, permitted to have an indoor boat storage
As primary use.
as a primary use.
Okay, so they
Yes.
don't need a house there first.
No, not in this case. This is the one, usually you're correct. They're only allowed as accessory buildings. In this case, though, it says boat storage as primary use if you get a special exception. So it's a different category.
A personal indoor boat storage, not as any kind of commercial thing. So the zoning board basically has the right to put some
Contingencies.
special conditions on it, like screening or, pushing it back from the property lines, things like that. It appears to me, they don't have measurements on it, but it appears to me that it's probably about 25 feet away from the side property line, which is within the regular setbacks for a home of 15 feet, and it's a good probably 300 feet from the front property line, so.
Do they show the proposed location for the house as well?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to, I can,
I'll see it, I just.
okay.
Is there
Anybody want to see this?
a minimum size it has to be, or a maximum size it can be?
I'm sorry?
Is there a minimum or maximum size it can be, or not? I'm asking this for another reason, not because of this one, but.
There is not.
There are setbacks, but no.
There are
the
setback
setback control.
requirements would need to meet an accessory building.
Reason I have that is you could put a 200-foot building up, but
Yeah.
with the setback, you have to really be careful about it.
And still like to leave a footprint for the main structure then too.
Yeah, it's in LR2, so the lot sizes are pretty
Yeah.
big there.
My question would be for the zoning board would be, you can control the aesthetics of it, right? You can't.
Not really. We don't
Well,
really have that.
in our purview, really.
The only aesthetics in the zoning ordinance are dealing with non-residential structures in town center and town residential, so.
It's in an HOA, I don't know what kind of regulations they may have.
And that'd be the only thing I would be concerned about, was if they throw a building up there and something happens, and that just being exposed.
I have approval from the HOA already.
Okay. I think that's the only comment I would have, make sure the HOA documents address the aesthetics of the building, or the, construction type of the building and stuff. That's the only thing I'd have concern about.
And the board can certainly put conditions on things. There's nothing in the ordinance about it, but if the board wanted to require different things, they can for a special exception in general.
Anybody have any concerns over this? We don't need to vote till we just send them back down, right?
Just, yeah, if you had any comments, I would include.
I mean, that's the only thing the only comment I have, is the HOA does address the structure and so on.
As Bruce mentioned, the zoning ordinance does say that the zoning board of appeals can ask for your opinion on variances, but I think it says they shall ask for it on special exceptions. So special exceptions like this, I think the planning commission should give something, even if you're saying we don't want to make comment, you're looking for some formal kind of comment back to them, so.
I mean, that's the only thing I think, you need to approve my comment on just making sure about the HOA or not. I would.
I think if that's all you want to say and you don't want to make a formal comment, you could say that's a recommendation or something.
All
just
right,
as
you
a
got it.
member.
Yeah.
I think it's just to get some input from the planning commission on special exceptions is the
And
intent.
I don't see the lot's big enough to do what you're trying to accomplish here, so I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about the look of it versus.
Yeah, if there was something official that you guys wanted to have, then I think it would be appropriate to get a motion for it.
All right.
Okay,
One more. The second special exception is submitted by Tim Nine, trading as Mountaintop Self Storage LLC for a special exception permit to allow the construction of a commercial self-storage building in the Deep Creek watershed. The property is located at 17455 Garrett Highway, tax map 66, parcel 14, grid 7, and it's also located in LR2 zoning. Do you want to comment on it?
Yeah, this one's rather unique. So the structure that is there now was used by Mountaintop Paving as a contractor storage building. That's not a permitted use in this part of the lake, so it was considered a grandfathered nonconformity. It was there prior to zoning in '75. So those types of grandfathered nonconformities, they're allowed to continue. If they would stop being used, then they have 2 years and then they go away. So like Red Run Restaurant's a good example of one. Once it wasn't used anymore, it went away. Pond Run Saloon's another one that really shouldn't be there in zoning. So as long as it continues, it gets to continue. So when they sold that, if they stop using it as the contractor storage yard, it goes away. There's a clause in the ordinance that says you can take one of these non-conforming uses and change it to another non-conforming use with a special exception, but you have to show that the impact is not any worse by the new use. So that's what they're asking for. So they will need to prove that the storage use doesn't have any greater impact than what the contractor storage use had.
is he adding more buildings or just using the buildings
Limited to
there?
that too, right?
Yes, so in a non-conforming
Yeah.
use, you're also limited to the size. So you get basically one expansion, and it's based on, I think, 35% of the floor area. So it's very strictly regulated how much you can expand these non-conforming uses. So that's the other part. They are making this bigger. So those are two things that they will have to show.
Is that the one that's above Curtin, that's there, the big blue building or whatever? it's
Putting dormers on it or something.
Yes. So it would be, I also have a site plan for that as well.
I don't remember this clause being used before, just for reference. So it is a pretty unique one to change it from one nonconformity to another.
So the blue area is the size of the building. It's 100 by 100
That's the side of the building being proposed, that's the side of the building.
proposed.
Okay.
Yes. I'm told that one or both of those buildings outlined in red are to come down. which would allow him a little more space for the 100 by 100, but it's still well over 35%.
Right smack dab in the middle of the lot, isn't it? Looks that way.
You say commercial storage, that's where people, he's gonna
It'll
run
be,
out.
yeah, like stuff, all those self-storage.
It's a self-storage. Oh, it does say self-storage, I'm sorry.
So the blue is the new building, and then
Okay.
the other two are
Those two.
proposed to come down verbally, not necessarily in the statement.
So the house stays.
Oh, those buildings are gonna have to, they're gonna fall down.
The blue line is the new building proposed.
So is he already up to his 35% expansion with this?
I don't know if there's ever been an expansion in the past.
But I mean, and he's entitled to expand it up to 35, to an
Yes.
additional, is he up to that limit now with what he's proposing?
With the proposed building,
Uh-huh.
it would be over that.
So are we allowed to do that?
I suppose the special exception is one thing to consider, whether he should be allowed to do it at all. And then the size of expansion is something that doesn't technically require variance. That's something we would handle in the office, that we would say, you can't, you need to make it smaller, 35% is too much.
Okay.
So,
So we're only judging the variance, the non-conforming use change, basically.
the special exception change, I mean, you're also looking
They
at,
don't have to come back for variance.
would not a variance, it's something that we can allow administratively, it's spelled out in the ordinance. You are looking at the impact of this being greater, so if it is larger and expanding beyond what's allowed, I think that comes into consideration as well. As you're looking at something that shouldn't be have a greater impact than what's there now.
Any other comments?
Isn't it gonna have impact on traffic? Like, isn't it gonna be more people in and out of there?
I mean, from my opinion, I don't think so. I mean, if it was used for construction equipment, storage and paving equipment storage, they're in and out of there every day. To me, self-storage units, there's hardly ever anybody in there.
Well, just to give you an idea, Misty's place is right at the bottom of the hill where the stone building is. That's totally covered with self-storage. And you ever see any cars come in and out of there?
That's why I was at, that's what
Yeah,
makes
traffic's.
I was just curious.
I think the applicant needs to address that. I think
Yeah.
we've related that to them, that we've pointed out that part of the ordinance. You need to show that the impact is no greater than what was there now.
We'll make them do that at the meeting. We'll address that at the meeting.
Any further comments on this, Tim? Jeff? Larry? Liz, you have anything else?
No.
Anybody want to add a caveat to this one, or just let it go back down the way it is, let Bruce and them handle it down at the other level? Billy? You have anything to say about this one?
Nope.
Okay, moving on down, Bruce.
That's it for me.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Chad, I guess you're next.
Yeah, I just have one subdivision plat. It's the North Camp record plat of right-of-way and common areas. Typically, this type of plat is something that gets submitted right at the beginning of the project, and we go through that. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but in talking to Highland, they realized that this one never got submitted for North Camp, so this is somewhat of a bit of just house cleaning, just making sure there is a plat showing all the roads, right-of-ways, and everything. Most of these lots have all been sold, so no changes to anything. It's just delineating those right-of-ways, common area easements. And since it's part of the PRD, I thought it appropriate that we submit it and have Tony sign it.
Any comments on this one? Everything in order, or we're now caught up to this now.
Yeah, that should be
Sequence is
finished.
now caught up to where it needs to
Mhm,
be.
yeah.
Do we need to make a formal approval on that?
Yeah, I think we would go ahead and approve it, just as a PRD plat.
Need a motion? Got a motion, second,
Well,
second.
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So moved.
I think that's all I had. I will say that the comp plan, the county commissioners did approve that in December.
Oh, yeah.
So it's done, it's on the website, we're all finished that, so.
3 years later, we got it.
Yeah, so we're good, so we're good for another 10 years or so now. So it was a long process, so I appreciate everybody sticking
That's
with it.
government efficiency, right?
Well, I don't think we ever said, I bet we'll have a worldwide pandemic in the middle of this or anything, so.
And we lost our one group that was doing it.
Yeah, so there were definitely a lot of issues we never anticipated, and that makes it hard to anticipate what the effects of some of those things are, but I think it was best just to get it approved, and then we'll probably have to
And
see.
the most interesting thing about that whole process, we came back to that meeting for the public hearing at the college, and nobody had any dissension on.
Right.
Well, we thought, you know, nobody spoke about anything. I'm like, that was really strange.
Was there much public comment?
No, there wasn't. It was quite a contrast to the last time we did it in
Oh, wow.
2008. You know, that was very contentious. There was just a lot of issues, and it just seemed like it was kind of a struggle.
I remember the hearing at the college, we had
Yeah.
an auditorium.
Yeah.
That thing turned ugly.
Yeah, they did. There was just a lot of packed houses, and
I mean, it was just like, where'd that come from, you know?
so this was surprising how little input we had. We didn't have any of those really big issues at the moment that were on people's minds. Some of the things, Marcellus Shale and things had already been resolved, so I think that helped that it wasn't as contentious. But
Question for you then, on the planning commission board itself, if we addressed Jelly's situation, or was
no, I'm trying to find somebody for that.
Okay.
So
anybody, I know Bill had a couple, did you have somebody who was, might be interested in being on the planning commission? Somebody-
yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the public meeting, but
I'll
if
talk to
anybody has any
somebody.
ideas, we could. Then I would just reach out to somebody, and then the county commissioners would have
Very good.
final say on that.
Anything else? Wasn't too painful, Larry. You're talking about 15 minutes? Record, what was the record time, 9?
Yeah.
I think 9 minutes was the record time. That was meeting adjourned.